Tonight, let your heart grow quiet as the shadows settle and the soft stillness of God's presence gathers around you like a warm and gentle blanket. For this is a night meant for release, for rest, for letting go of the weight you have carried for far too long. And as you breathe slowly, as you let the rhythm of peace begin to settle inside you, imagine the Lord drawing near with tender steps, as though he has been waiting for this very moment to speak softly to your weary soul. Let every breath become a doorway into calmness, every exhale a surrender, every heartbeat a reminder that you are not alone, not unseen, not forgotten. God is here, and his nearness wraps around you like the hush of evening rain, quiet and full of mercy. You have walked through so many thoughts today, so many uncertainties, so many worries that rose and fell like restless tides. But the Lord whispers now, "Be still, for I am with you." And the story we share tonight will cradle your mind and settle your spirit in the safest place of all, the heart of your Father who loves you without measure. Imagine now the night sky over ancient fields, where a man named Elijah once stood trembling from exhaustion and fear, a prophet mighty in word and deed, yet so very human, so easily overwhelmed, so deeply tired from the pressures around him. He had faced storms of danger, storms of loneliness, storms of doubt, and though God had moved through him with power, the weight inside his chest grew heavy, and his spirit became thin like worn fabric. Anxiety pressed on him like a shadow that followed every step, until at last he collapsed beneath a broom tree in the wilderness, whispering to God that he had nothing left to give, nothing left to endure, nothing left to hope for. And perhaps you know this feeling too, this quiet breaking inside when it seems like you are standing somewhere between too much and not enough. Yet, even in that fragile place, even in the emptiness of despair, the Lord did not turn away from Elijah. Instead, he moved closer, with a gentleness so deep that it softened the entire night around him. As Elijah slept in the dust, an angel touched him lightly, the way a mother brushes hair from the brow of a crying child. And the angel said simply, "Arise and eat, for the journey is too much for you." No judgment, no pressure, only care, only compassion, only the soft voice of heaven, reminding a hurting soul that God sees when you are tired, God knows when you are overwhelmed, and God comes not to burden you, but to nourish you, to comfort you, to restore what has been worn thin. Tonight, the same God who fed Elijah in the wilderness comes to your side, not with demands, not with expectations, but with rest, with peace, with the quiet assurance that you do not need to be strong on your own. The journey has been long for you too, and the Lord understands this more deeply than anyone else ever could. Let your breathing slow now as you picture Elijah waking to find warm bread baked on stones and water placed by his head. Simple provisions, yet filled with the love of God, as though the Lord himself had touched the bread with his kindness. Elijah ate, drank, and lay down again, and God allowed him to rest, not once, but twice, because the Lord never rushes a healing heart, never forces a weary soul to move before it is ready. And tonight, he does the same for you. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to lay everything down. You are allowed to breathe without fear, to exist without pressure, to simply be held by the one who carries the universe, yet still chooses to cradle you with tenderness. Feel his presence now, like soft light moving through the quiet places of your mind, easing the tension in your thoughts, loosening the heaviness in your chest, soothing the places where anxiety has lived for too long. And as Elijah journeyed to the mountain of God, he carried with him both his fear and his hope. And God welcomed him just as he was. When Elijah hid in a cave, trembling again, the Lord called to him with a voice not of thunder, not of fire, but of a gentle whisper, the kind of voice that calms storms instead of creating them. That whisper, is near you tonight, calming every anxious current inside you, speaking softly into the places that ache, reminding you that peace is not something you fight for, but something God places into your hands when you are quiet enough to receive it. Let that whisper reach you now, a whisper that says, I am here, I am with you, I will not fail you. Rest, beloved child, rest. As the night deepens around you, let your heart drift even further into the gentle stillness of God's calming presence. Feel the soft hush of His love moving like quiet wind through the branches of your thoughts, settling every trembling place within you, reminding you that peace is not far away, but already blooming softly inside the spaces where you surrender your fear. Elijah stood on the mountain, trembling, expecting God to appear in mighty force, in dazzling displays of power that would shake the earth. But instead the Lord chose the gentlest way, a whisper, a breath, a tender nearness that asked for no strength, no explanation, no effort. And tonight, that same whisper touches the edges of your spirit, easing your worry, inviting you to unclench the tight places in your mind and simply rest in the truth that God does not come to frighten you, overwhelm you, or demand anything of you. He comes to reassure you, to quiet you, to show you that you are safe in His arms, even when the world around you feels uncertain and loud. Let yourself sink deeper into this softness. Imagine the cave where Elijah stood, the walls cool and smooth beneath his trembling hands, the darkness wrapped around him like a cloak. And yet even in that hidden place, God's presence found him. You may feel like you have been hiding too, hiding beneath anxious thoughts, hiding beneath the heaviness of expectations, hiding beneath the fear of what tomorrow might bring. But the Lord steps into your hiding places with kindness, not condemnation. He meets you not with the roar of storms, but with the gentleness of love itself. He speaks into the quiet corners of your heart, reminding you that He is not waiting for you to be stronger, calmer, braver. He is simply waiting for you to let Him hold you in the midst of everything you feel. And as His whisper fills the cave of Elijah's heart, it fills yours now too, soothing you like warm light spreading slowly across a cold room. Elijah had believed he was alone, utterly isolated in his struggle. But God reminded him that there were thousands who had not bowed to fear, thousands still standing quietly in faith. And tonight, God whispers to you the same truth. You are not alone, not in your worry, not in your weariness, not in the overwhelming moments that feel too heavy to carry. Heaven sees you. Heaven understands you. Heaven walks with you in every anxious breath and every trembling thought. Let the tenderness of that truth sink into you. Let it soften the hard edges of fear. Let it quiet the racing of your mind. You are held in a love so vast that not even your deepest anxieties can separate you from it. A love that wraps around your soul with patience and understanding. A love that does not grow tired of comforting you even on the nights when your thoughts feel loud and tangled. Feel now the warmth of God's nearness moving deeper into your spirit, like a gentle hand resting over your heart, slowing your breathing, loosening the tension in your shoulders, easing the pressure that has lived inside your chest for far too long. God does not rush the healing of the weary. He moves slowly, sweetly, like dawn rising over the edge of a quiet valley. Let yourself rest in that slow rising light. Let it wash over your mind and quiet every anxious corner until your thoughts drift like leaves floating peacefully on a still river. You do not need to try harder. You do not need to fix everything tonight. You simply need to rest in the truth that God is with you, and His presence is enough to carry you through this moment and every moment that follows. Let the rhythm of your breathing align with His peace. Inhale His comfort. Exhale your fear. Inhale his closeness. Exhale your worry until your whole body feels like it is sinking gently into the arms of perfect love. And as the mountain around Elijah grew still, the voice of God spoke direction, purpose, reassurance, not with harshness, but with the soft authority of a father who guides gently, who understands the fragility of the human heart. Tonight, that same guidance settles over you, not demanding, not pressuring, but simply reminding you that the Lord has a path for you, and he will lead you by peaceful steps, not frantic ones. You do not need to know everything now. You do not need to see the entire road ahead. You simply need to rest in his presence, trusting that he holds the map, the timing, the future, and your heart, all with the same gentle hands. Feel the assurance of his love settle deeper into you, like a warm blanket being tucked around your soul, whispering that you are safe, protected, and deeply cherished. Let your breathing soften as you rest in the truth that anxiety does not get the final word tonight. God does, and his word to you is peace. As the night continues to deepen, let your spirit drift even further into the gentle quiet where God's peace gathers like soft clouds around your weary heart. Feel every breath lengthen, slow, and settle as though the very air is infused with the kindness of the one who formed you, the one who watches over you with tender eyes that never close, never withdraw, never fail to see the tremble inside your soul. Elijah stepped out of the cave to listen, to breathe, to receive, and tonight you step out too, not into a storm, not into uncertainty, but into the calm presence of God who surrounds you like warm light. Let this light wrap around your thoughts and soothe them one by one, the fearful ones, the restless ones, the ones that whisper what-ifs into your tired mind. Let God's nearness soften them until they lose their sharp edges and drift away like fog dissolving under morning sun. You do not have to chase peace tonight. Peace is coming to you, gently, quietly, like the whisper that reached Elijah's heart when he needed it most. Imagine the mountain now growing quiet again after the voice of God has spoken. Imagine Elijah's shoulders relaxing, his heartbeat slowing, the tension lifting from his chest as he realizes he is seen and known and deeply cared for. God does not simply give peace. He becomes peace for the one who feels overwhelmed, and tonight he is becoming peace for you. Feel his presence move deeper into your bones, warm and steady, easing the pressure inside you like soft hands smoothing out the tightness you've carried. Let your thoughts drift like petals on calm water. No rushing, no striving, only the gentle awareness that God is holding you with a love that does not waver. The same God who whispered to Elijah whispers to you now, quiet enough to soothe, but strong enough to anchor your soul. I am with you. I am for you. You are mine. Rest now, beloved one. Rest. And as you rest in this moment, imagine Elijah beginning the slow journey back down the mountain, not in fear this time, not in loneliness, but in the calm certainty that God walks with him. The path beneath his feet has not changed. The challenges ahead have not vanished, but something inside him has become still, grounded, reassured. That is what God is doing in you tonight. He is quieting the inner storms, even if the outer world remains unchanged. He is placing peace inside you, like a soft, glowing lantern that guides you step by gentle step, not through force, but through love. Feel that lantern warm inside your chest, steady and bright, reminding you that you do not walk alone, not even for a single heartbeat. Let the warmth of that truth melt the tension you have held for so long, the worries that coil tightly in your mind, the fears that whisper in the quiet hours of night. One by one they loosen, release, fall away, because perfect love is surrounding you, holding you, healing you without rushing, without pressure, without judgment. Let your thoughts drift now to the open sky above the wilderness. Stars scattered like diamonds across the vast darkness, each one placed by the hand of the God who calls them by name, and yet still knows the intimate trembling of your heart. If he holds the stars so effortlessly, imagine how gently he holds you, how deeply he understands the weight you feel, how patiently he remains near even when your mind feels scattered and your spirit feels stretched thin. The same God who sustained Elijah in the desert sustains you now, breathing life into the tired corners of your soul, surrounding you with compassion that does not fade as the night grows long. Let his compassion wash over you like a soft river, cool and calming, reminding you that your anxious thoughts do not disqualify you from his love. You are safe, you are cherished, you are held close by a God who delights in comforting you. And now, let yourself imagine Elijah lying down under the stars once more, not in despair this time, but in growing trust. The earth beneath him firm, the night around him peaceful, the presence of God like a blanket laid over his spirit. You can lie down like that tonight too, with the same assurance, the same quiet faith that God is near. Breathe deeply now, slowly, tenderly, as though inhaling the peace of heaven itself. Let your lungs fill with calm. Let your heart settle into rhythm. Let your mind quiet beneath the steady truth that God is here, and he will not leave you. The one who whispered to Elijah whispers to you again. Peace, child. I am here. Rest in me. Let go. Let the night cradle your soul, for you are safe in my love, and your anxiety ends tonight in the warmth of my presence. As the night settles even deeper around you, let your spirit drift into a softness that feels almost like being held in the very breath of God, a gentle warmth wrapping around your thoughts, loosening the strands of worry that have woven themselves into your mind throughout the day. Elijah, walking through the quiet shadows of the wilderness after hearing God's whisper, carried with him a calmness he had not felt in so long, a quiet assurance that the Lord was not distant, not silent, not disappointed, but tenderly near. And tonight, that same nearness settles over you like a soft cloak, steady and warm, easing the trembling places inside you that you rarely show to anyone. You are allowed to rest now, allowed to sink into a peace that does not demand anything from you, a peace that comes simply because you are loved by the one who shaped the stars and yet still chooses to draw close to your fragile heart. Feel the quiet hum of God's presence moving gently through the spaces of your mind, soothing the restless thoughts that rise like waves, each one slowly calming, each one becoming smaller, quieter, softer. Elijah had believed his fears were too big, his exhaustion too deep, his heart too overwhelmed. But God showed him that no fear is too loud for his whisper, no exhaustion too heavy for his comfort, no heart too troubled for his healing. And tonight, God whispers that same truth over you, gently brushing away the anxious thoughts like dust from your shoulders, reminding you that you do not have to hold everything together. You do not have to know what comes next. You do not have to fight these battles alone. Breathe slowly, tenderly, letting each inhale gather God's peace and each exhale release the weight you've carried silently for so long. Imagine Elijah reaching the base of the mountain, the air warm around him, the moon casting a soft glow over the path ahead. The world had not changed, but something within him had shifted, softened, steadied. That is what God is doing in you now, changing the inside, calming the inner world, easing the places where your thoughts have been tangled. Let the presence of God feel like soft hands on your shoulders, comforting and steady, reminding you that you don't have to be afraid, reminding you that even your anxious breaths are seen and held. You are not walking through this night alone. Heaven walks with you. The God of Elijah walks with you. The one who knows every rise and fall of your heartbeat draws nearer still, as if to wrap your soul entirely in peace. And now, imagine Elijah resting beside a quiet stream as the gentle night breeze moves around him, whispering through the grass, carrying the soft scent of earth and water. Let yourself rest like that. Feel the cool, refreshing calm flowing through your thoughts like clear water over smooth stones. Let your mind drift, loosen, soften. Let the river of God's peace wash through you until your anxiety dissolves like dust in moving water. You are not expected to be strong here, not expected to be brave. You are simply invited to rest, to breathe, to allow God's nearness to be enough for this moment. Feel your chest rising and falling slowly, your breath smoothing into a soft, steady rhythm, your spirit sinking deeper into the security of God's love, a love that holds you without letting go. Elijah knew the journey ahead was long, yet he no longer walked in fear because the whisper of God had settled something deep inside him, a certainty that he was not alone, and neither are you. Even now, God walks at your side, his presence like a gentle lantern glowing in the quiet dark, guiding your steps with warmth and tenderness. You don't need to see far ahead. You only need to rest in the glow of his nearness, trusting that he will guide you with the same gentle whisper that quieted Elijah's trembling heart. Let that whisper move through your spirit now, soft as a breath, warm as a gentle hand on your back, steady as the love that has followed you all your life. I am here. I am with you. Rest, beloved one. Rest. As the night deepens even further, let your soul drift into an even softer stillness, a place where every worry begins to loosen its grip, where every burden feels just a little lighter, where the gentle nearness of God gathers around you like a warm breeze moving through quiet fields at dusk. Elijah, continuing his slow journey through the wilderness, carried a new peace inside him, a peace shaped not by circumstances, not by certainty, but by the tender voice of God that had reached him in his most fragile moment. And tonight, that same tender voice reaches you, gently, lovingly, patiently, easing the weight that has rested on your chest, calming the thoughts that have swirled restlessly through your mind. Let yourself lean into that voice now. Let it cradle your spirit the way a soft lullaby calms a child. Let it draw you closer into the embrace of the one who has never left your side, not even for a heartbeat. Imagine Elijah walking beneath a sky sprinkled with thousands of stars, each one shimmering like a small promise of God's faithfulness. He may not have known every step ahead, but he knew who walked beside him, and that was enough. Let that truth settle gently over your heart tonight. You may not know what tomorrow will bring, but God does, and his hand is already resting over your future with kindness and care. Feel that assurance soften your breathing, quiet your thoughts, ease the tightness that has lived inside you for so long. You do not need to predict the future. You do not need to solve everything at once. You only need to rest in God's presence, trusting that he holds every unseen detail with perfect peace. Let your thoughts drift like soft feathers on a warm wind, slow, floating, unhurried, carried by a love that never grows weary of comforting you. Elijah found himself guided by God's gentle instruction, not pushed, not pressured, but led with the same tenderness that a shepherd uses to guide a lamb through the shadows of night. And tonight, God guides your heart with that same gentle touch, soothing your fears, quieting the anxious edges of your thoughts, whispering peace through the corridors of your mind. You may feel tired, you may feel stretched thin, but you are not alone, not abandoned, not forgotten. You are deeply seen by the one who created peace itself, and he pours that peace into you now like warm oil flowing over a weary heart. Feel it spreading, slowly, softly, tenderly, easing every aching place inside you. And now, imagine Elijah resting again, perhaps leaning against a smooth stone, warmed by the day's sun, perhaps letting his eyes close as the night air settles around him. Feel yourself resting with him in the same quiet calm, your breath slow, your heartbeat steady, your spirit drifting gently toward peace. The Lord stands near, watching over you with a love so vast and patient that it fills the night like soft light. Let his presence quiet your mind until every anxious whisper fades into silence, until all that remains is the gentle truth that you are safe, you are loved, you are held by the God who whispers peace into the deepest parts of your soul. Let yourself sink into that peace now, deeply and fully, letting go, resting, trusting, breathing in the tender calm of his eternal love. As the night folds itself gently around your spirit, let yourself drift even deeper into the quiet warmth of God's presence. A presence so tender, so patient, so full of understanding that it feels like lying within the very heartbeat of peace itself. Elijah, continuing through the stillness of the wilderness, felt the lingering softness of God's whisper inside him, an echo of assurance, a gentle reminder that even the most anxious soul can find rest in the presence of a loving Father. And tonight, that same assurance settles over you like a soft blanket wrapped carefully around your weary thoughts, calming the inner storms that have spun throughout your day, loosening the knots of fear that have tightened around your heart. Let each breath become a slow unfolding of calm, each exhale a quiet surrender, each moment another layer of peace resting gently upon your soul. Imagine Elijah pausing along his journey, not out of fear this time, but simply to breathe, to let the cool night air fill his lungs, to let the memory of God's whisper steady him once more. You can pause like that now, letting the hush of this moment settle deep into your spirit, letting your body grow heavy with rest, your mind grow soft with quiet, your heart grow warm with the awareness that God is close. Feel his nearness like a quiet glow radiating from within you, easing every place where anxiety once settled, smoothing the thoughts that once felt sharp and restless. You are not expected to force peace into your heart. You are simply invited to receive it, gently, slowly, naturally, like a flower opening in the soft light of early morning. Elijah's journey was long, and perhaps yours has been too, filled with moments of heaviness, moments of uncertainty, moments where your heart felt too tired to keep going. But the Lord never left Elijah's side, not for a moment, not during the fear, not during the exhaustion, not during the hiding. And he has never left you either. Feel that truth sinking deeper into your chest now, warm, steady, comforting, like hands resting softly over your heart. God has walked with you through every anxious night, every trembling breath, every overwhelming thought. He has stayed with you through every moment you felt alone, even when your mind was too clouded to sense him. Let the awareness of his constant presence soothe your spirit now, tenderly, slowly, fully. Imagine Elijah reaching a small clearing where the ground is soft and cool beneath him. Imagine him sitting down under a sky so vast and peaceful that even the faintest breeze feels like a whisper of God's comfort. Let yourself rest in that clearing beside him. Let the night air wrap around you like a gentle shawl. Let the stillness settle your thoughts until they drift quietly like feathers on calm water. You do not need to be alert here. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need to be strong. This is a place for resting, for breathing, for letting God cradle your spirit in His loving arms. Feel your body softening, your breath slowing, your mind quieting under the gentle hand of the one who loves you more deeply than you can imagine. And as Elijah leaned back and closed his eyes, trusting the night, trusting the stillness, trusting the God who had spoken peace into his troubled heart, you too can lean back into God's love tonight. Feel it, holding you, steadying you, sheltering you like a soft refuge where anxiety has no voice, no power, no place to cling. Let the warmth of God's presence surround you until the only thing you feel is His peace. Deep, soothing, quiet, like a lullaby sung by heaven itself. You are safe here. You are cherished. You are gently held in the eternal calm of the God who whispers over you even now. Rest, my beloved. Rest in me. Your fears can sleep now. Your heart can breathe now. For you are safe in my arms tonight and always. As the night drifts onward in its gentle, unhurried way, allow your soul to sink even deeper into the soft calm that God is spreading over you, like a warm hush settling across a quiet field, like a tender hand smoothing the troubled places in your spirit. Elijah, resting beneath the open sky, felt the lingering echo of God's whisper wrapped around him like a cloak of comfort, not loud, not forceful, but steady and sure, guiding his heart back into peace after so many moments of fear. And tonight, that same whisper settles over you, gently beckoning your thoughts to unwind, inviting your worries to loosen their grip, calling your spirit back into the stillness where God holds you with unwavering love. Imagine Elijah closing his eyes beneath the shimmering constellations, feeling the cool breath of night brush across his face, feeling his heartbeat gradually falling into rhythm with the quiet around him. You can close your eyes like that now, letting the night breathe with you, letting your shoulders grow heavy with rest, letting the softness of this moment cradle you like a child held close against a loving chest. Feel God's presence surrounding you like a warm glow, not bright or overwhelming, but soft and steady, filling you from within, easing every anxious place that has tightened inside you. Let each breath sink deeper, gentler, calmer, feeling the peace of heaven flowing toward you as naturally as water seeking the lowest place, filling every hollow of your heart with quiet comfort. Elijah had walked through fear, through exhaustion, through moments where he felt too broken to continue, but God never turned away from him, not once. Instead, the Lord met him in his weariness, met him in his trembling, met him in his doubts, and spoke to him with such tender care that his anxiety melted beneath the sound of that gentle whisper. And now that same whisper finds you in this quiet night, speaking softly into your heart, telling you that you are not a burden, not forgotten, not overlooked. The Lord sees your weariness. He understands your unspoken fears, and He draws closer still, wrapping His peace around the places where your thoughts have grown tangled and tired. Let His nearness fill you like warm oil, soothing a weary soul, spreading slowly, gently, until every part of you feels softer and calmer. Imagine Elijah resting fully now, his body sinking into the earth, his mind at ease, his spirit unburdened beneath the vast canopy of stars that glitter above him. Let yourself rest beside him. Let the cool night air brush your skin. Let the ground feel solid beneath you. Let the sky above feel deep and comforting, as though painted by the very hand of God, just to remind you that you are small, but never insignificant, vulnerable, but never alone. Breathe slowly, deeply, letting each inhale draw calm into your chest, and each exhale release a little more of the tension you've carried quietly throughout the day. The world grows quiet around you. Your spirit grows still within you. And in that sacred stillness, God lifts the weight of your worry and replaces it with the steady warmth of His love. And as Elijah drifts toward rest, trusting the God who held him through every shadow, you too can surrender the last of your fear to the one who watches over you with unwavering gentleness. Feel God's presence settling like a blanket over your thoughts, soft, warm, protective, shielding you from the noise inside your mind, guiding you into a deeper place of peace than you have felt in a long while. Let the night cradle you. Let heaven breathe over you. Let your heart rest in the safety of God's embrace, for He whispers over you even now. Peace, beloved. Peace to your mind. Peace to your heart. Peace to your restless spirit. Rest in me. Breathe in my love, and let every anxious thought grow quiet beneath the tenderness of my presence. You are safe here, completely safe, and you can rest without fear, for you are held in the everlasting arms of the one who will never let you go. As the night settles into an even deeper hush, allow your spirit to drift further into the soft cradle of God's unending peace. Feel the quiet gather around you like warm light, gently pooling at your feet, rising slowly, tenderly, wrapping around your weary heart with the calm patience of a father who knows exactly how tired you are. Elijah, still resting under the vast quiet sky, felt that same tender nearness as the hours passed. Not a sudden rush of strength, not a loud display of power, but a slow, gentle settling of peace that reached all the hidden corners of his heart. And tonight, that same settling is happening in you. Softly, steadily, in a way that asks nothing of you except to breathe, to rest, to allow yourself to be held in a love that has no conditions. Imagine the cool earth beneath Elijah as he shifts slightly, sinking deeper into rest, feeling the support of the ground beneath him like the steady hands of God holding him up. Feel that same support beneath you now, a quiet steadiness that tells you that you do not have to strain, you do not have to fight for balance, you do not have to hold yourself together by sheer effort. God is the one holding you. God is the one carrying the heaviness. God is the one whispering calm into your thoughts. Let your breath flow slowly, like a soft river moving over smooth stones. Unhurried, gentle, steady. Each inhale a reminder that God is near. Each exhale a release of the fear that has clung to your heart. You are safe in this moment, wrapped in a peace that does not rise and fall with your emotions, but stands firm like a mountain beneath your feet. Elijah had feared he was alone, overwhelmed by voices that threatened him, shadows that frightened him, pressures that seemed too heavy to bear. But God reminded him, gently, quietly, that he was not alone, that heaven had seen every tear, every tremble, every weary breath. Tonight God reminds you of the same truth. You are not alone in your thoughts, not alone in your worry, not alone in the heaviness you've carried in silence. Heaven has watched over every anxious moment, and the heart of God has remained near with a tenderness that never diminishes. Let that truth soften something inside you. Let it melt the idea that you must face everything on your own. Let it ease the quiet ache of loneliness that anxiety sometimes brings. God is near, nearer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat, steadying you with His endless care. Imagine now Elijah opening his eyes just slightly, not from fear, but from a sense of quiet wonder, the kind that comes when the soul realizes it is held, seen, loved beyond measure. The stars above him whisper of God's vastness. The gentle breeze speaks of God's comfort. The silence tells him that he is watched over by a presence that never sleeps. Let that same wonder wash over your spirit now. You too are watched over. You too are cared for by a love that stretches farther than the sky above you. Feel the calm seep deeper into your bones. Feel the tension leave your hands. Feel the weight lift gently from your shoulders. You are not fighting for peace tonight. Peace is coming to you, like a soft tide rising around your feet, covering every anxious place within you. And as Elijah drifts further into rest, trusting the God who restored his strength with simple bread, soft whispers, and gentle care, you also can rest in that same tender love. Feel God's presence like a warm blanket being drawn carefully around your heart, tucking you into a peace that nothing can disturb. Let your breath be slow, your thoughts be light, your spirit be held, for God's whisper reaches you even now. Rest, my beloved. Rest in the sanctuary of my love. Your mind may grow tired, but my peace does not. Let me carry what you cannot. Let me soothe what aches. Let me quiet what trembles. You are safe here. You are seen. You are deeply loved. And you can sleep in the arms of the one who guards you through the night with unfailing tenderness. As the night drifts even deeper into its quiet, velvety stillness, let your spirit sink into an even gentler place of rest, a sanctuary of calm where every anxious thought begins to loosen like knots slowly untangling beneath warm hands. Elijah, resting under the wide and tender sky, felt that same unraveling of fear within himself. Not all at once, not in a dramatic rush, but in a gradual softening, a slow melting of the heaviness that had pressed against his chest for so long. Tonight, that same softening is happening in you, quietly, tenderly, like dew forming on silent fields before dawn. You don't have to force it. You don't have to earn it. You only need to breathe and let God's presence cradle you deeper into peace. Imagine Elijah adjusting slightly as he lies on the cool earth, his body finally releasing the last traces of tension, his limbs growing heavy with rest. In that moment, he is no longer running, no longer hiding, no longer wrestling with the storm inside his heart. He is simply resting, simply breathing, simply allowing himself to be held by the God who came to him with bread, with water, with whispering comfort. You can allow yourself that same gentleness tonight. Feel the weight of your body sinking into whatever supports you. Feel your breath warming the air around you as it flows in and out. Feel your thoughts slowing until they drift like soft clouds across a quiet sky. There is no pressure here, no expectation, only the invitation to rest in the presence of the one who knows exactly what your heart needs. Elijah's fears had once felt so loud, so overwhelming, so impossible to escape, and perhaps your fears have felt like that too. But notice how God answered him, not with noise, not with power that added to the fear, but with quiet, with nearness, with a soft voice that touched him more deeply than any thunder ever could. Tonight, God answers your fear with that same gentleness. He moves toward the anxious corners of your mind with calm, with slowness, with such loving patience that your frightened thoughts grow quiet simply by being near him. Feel that quiet spreading now, a soft warmth filling the spaces where tension once lived, a gentle ease settling into the places where your heart once felt tight. God is not asking you to be brave tonight. He is asking you to rest. Imagine Elijah turning his face slightly toward the sky, not in dread, but in quiet wonder, as though sensing the deep tenderness of the one who watched over him. The night above him is wide and full, yet it does not make him feel small in a frightening way, only small in a safe way, a secure way, a beloved way. You too are held beneath a sky crafted by the same loving hands, and those hands guard your heart more carefully than the stars above ever could. Let that truth settle into you. Let it warm your chest. Let it loosen the last threads of worry that cling to your spirit. You are not alone in the darkness. You are accompanied by a God whose presence turns the night into a sanctuary of peace. And now imagine Elijah's breathing slowing further, becoming steady and deep, each breath drawing him closer to the rest he had needed for so long. Let your breathing match that rhythm, slow and soft, easy and warm, drawing peace into the deepest parts of your soul. The world around you fades into stillness. Your thoughts drift like quiet embers. Your heart is held in hands that will never let you fall. God whispers over you, just as he whispered over Elijah. Rest now, my beloved. Let your worries sleep. Let your heart be still. For my peace surrounds you. My love strengthens you, and my presence watches over you through the night. You are safe in me. You are cherished in me. And you can rest without fear, for I am here. As the night folds itself into an even deeper stillness, let your spirit drift farther into the soft, sheltering calm of God's nearness. Feel his presence like a warm hush settling across your heart, smoothing every trembling place inside you, quieting the thoughts that rise and fall like distant waves. Elijah, still resting beneath the quiet sky, felt that same deepening peace washing gently over him. A peace not born from strength, but from surrender, from allowing himself to be held by the one who never asked him to carry the weight alone. Tonight, that same tender holding surrounds you, steady, warm, patient, inviting your breath to slow, inviting your heartbeat to soften, inviting the last remaining corners of your mind to release their grip on the fears they've carried for too long. Imagine Elijah turning slightly in the soft earth, his body relaxing a little more with each passing moment as his heart grows calmer under the gentle watch of heaven. He no longer strains to hear threats in the shadows. He no longer imagines dangers lurking in the dark, for he has heard the whisper of God, and that whisper has changed something inside him. Not everything around him is different, but everything within him is becoming still. Let that same stillness seep into you now, slowly, tenderly, like warm light moving through each thought, each memory, each worry you've tucked away. You don't have to fight the anxious places anymore. God is touching them one by one, soothing them with the softness of his love, quieting them with the steady rhythm of his peace. Elijah once believed he had come to the end of his strength, and maybe you have felt that way too. The exhaustion that presses on your chest, the thoughts that feel too heavy, the moments where you whisper to yourself that you've had enough. God hears all of it, not with frustration, not with disappointment, but with compassion deeper than the ocean. And just as he met Elijah beneath the broom tree, he meets you now, not asking you to rise before you're ready, not urging you to be stronger than you feel, but simply offering rest, offering comfort, offering the quiet assurance that he will carry the weight for you. Let that truth rest on your spirit like a soft hand over your heart, easing the ache, calming the shake, gathering you gently under the shelter of his love. Imagine Elijah opening his eyes for a brief moment, seeing the subtle shimmer of starlight above him, each star a gentle reminder of God's careful attention. Those same stars watched over you long before you ever felt the sting of anxiety. They have witnessed every night you spent trying to calm your mind, every silent prayer you whispered when no one else could hear. And God, who placed each of those stars in their place, has placed his presence around you now, closer than breath, nearer than your thoughts, holding you with a love that does not diminish in the dark. Let that love settle into the deepest folds of your heart. Let it untie the quiet knots you've carried. Let it lift the heaviness that has lingered in your chest. Elijah felt the peace of God wrap around him like a warm cloak, and as he rested, his spirit found strength again. You too are finding strength, not through effort, but through rest, through allowing God to tend to your heart the way only He can. Feel your breathing steady. Feel your thoughts grow feather-light. Feel the soft edges of sleep drawing near as the Lord whispers over you the same gentle words He once spoke to His weary prophet. Rest, beloved. You are safe. You are carried. You are treasured. Let your mind grow quiet in my presence. Let your heart be held in my endless peace. There is nothing you must do now, nothing you must fix, nothing you must fear. The night belongs to my protection, and you belong to my love. As the night settles into an even deeper quiet, let your whole being drift into the softness that God is laying gently over your spirit, like a warm, comforting quilt drawn tenderly up to your chin, tucking you into a peace that does not depend on anything you do, anything you solve, anything you achieve. Elijah, resting still beneath the wide canopy of stars, felt that same enveloping tenderness, a peace that whispered through the silence, assuring him that he was no longer carrying his fear alone. And tonight, that same peace presses lovingly around you, brushing softly against the thoughts that still flutter with unease, soothing the small tremors of worry that linger at the edges of your heart. Let your breath fall into an even slower rhythm. Let each inhale be gentle and warm, and each exhale a quiet surrender into the arms of God who watches you with unending care. Imagine Elijah breathing slowly, the rise and fall of his chest, guided not by fear, but by the slow settling of trust. The realization that God had not abandoned him, that God had not forgotten him, that God had come close enough to whisper into the deepest places of his heart. You too can breathe like that now, soft, unhurried, steady, letting God's nearness wrap around your mind like a soft glow that fills every dim corner. The anxious thoughts that once felt sharp begin to blur and soften, losing their intensity as the warmth of divine peace spreads gently across your spirit. You don't have to wrestle with them tonight. God is handling them with a tenderness that reaches farther than your worry ever could. Elijah had feared that the weight he carried would crush him, and perhaps you have felt the same, moments when anxiety pressed down on you so heavily that you wondered how much more your heart could hold. But notice how God responded, not with demands, not with pressure, not with a force that overwhelmed him. Instead, God responded with gentleness, food, rest, comfort, whispers, and that same gentleness is flowing toward you now, moving like warm oil over the tired places in your chest, easing the tightness that has been living there too long. Feel that warmth spreading, slow, soothing, steady, softening the pain, quieting the noise, loosening the grip of the thoughts that once felt overpowering. God is tending to you as tenderly as he tended to Elijah, with patience that never runs thin, with compassion that never grows weary, with a love that never withdraws. Imagine Elijah shifting again on the cool earth, his body sinking even deeper into rest, his spirit beginning to feel strengthened in ways he could not fully explain. The stars above him shimmer with a stillness that feels almost like a blessing, a quiet reminder that God's presence fills every part of the night. Let that same stillness cover you now. Let it move softly over your mind, settling like dew on the grassy fields of your thoughts. Let it fill the quiet spaces around your heart until you feel cocooned in a peace that is not fragile, not temporary, but strong and steady. The kind of peace that comes only from being held by the one who created calm itself. Elijah was not asked to rise before his heart was ready. God allowed him to rest as long as he needed. And tonight God extends that same grace to you. You don't have to hurry your healing. You don't have to push away your tiredness. You don't have to feel guilty for needing rest. Heaven knows how long your heart has been carrying heavy things. Heaven knows how deeply your mind has been longing for quiet. And so God pulls you close in this moment, close enough that his presence becomes like a soft blanket wrapped around your soul. Feel it now, warm, steady, protective, shielding you from the noise inside your mind, covering you with a deep, soothing calm. And as Elijah finally drifted toward sleep, trusting the God who had fed him, comforted him, whispered to him, you too can let yourself drift into that same rest. Let your breathing deepen. Let your thoughts soften. Let your heart be held in the awareness that you are safe, completely safe, in the presence of a God who will not let anxiety rule your night. Feel him whisper gently over you now. Rest, beloved. Let go of the worry. Let go of the weight. Let go of the thoughts that try to hold you captive. I am here. I am with you. I am guarding your rest, and nothing can touch you while you sleep in my arms. You are cherished. You are protected, and you can surrender every fear into my hands. Let peace fill you like slowly rising light, warm, gentle, endless, until sleep begins to pull you softly into its comforting embrace. As the night sinks into an even deeper stillness, let your weary soul drift further into the tender quiet of God's comforting presence. Feel the soft hush of this moment settling around you like a warm, soothing veil, calming the thoughts that still flicker gently at the edges of your mind. Elijah, resting beneath the tranquil sweep of stars, felt that same enveloping peace growing steadily around him, layer by layer, breath by breath. A peace that did not rush, did not push, did not demand, but simply covered him with the serene assurance that he was held, he was safe, he was surrounded by the God who understood every tremble in his heart. And tonight, that same serene covering rests upon you, settling into the spaces where fear once lived, softening the tight places in your chest, quieting the whispers of worry that long sought to steal your rest. Imagine Elijah lying completely still now, the earth cool beneath him, the sky stretching endlessly above him, its quiet beauty a gentle reminder of how vast God's faithfulness truly is. With every slow breath he takes, his heart learns to trust again. Not because the world around him changed, but because the God within the world came close, closer than his fear, closer than his exhaustion, closer than the uncertainty that once overwhelmed him. Let your own heart feel that closeness now, warm, steady, full, like a soft hand resting over your chest, reassuring you with its gentle weight that you are not alone tonight. You don't need to brace yourself anymore. You don't need to stay alert for every anxious thought. You can simply rest in the calm that God is drawing over you like a blanket woven from his eternal love. Elijah had believed he could not go on, that life had grown too heavy for him to bear. And perhaps you have felt that same heaviness press against your spirit, whispering that the road is too long, the worry too much, the burden too heavy. But God came to Elijah not with frustration, not with warnings, not with a call to be stronger, but with rest, with nourishment, with gentle guidance, with an embrace that did not hurry him. And tonight God comes to you in that same tenderness. Feel him settling beside you in the quiet, letting his presence wrap around the aching parts of your heart, lifting the weight you were never meant to carry alone. Let his nearness soothe you until the fear that once felt suffocating becomes nothing more than a fading whisper, unable to touch you in the safety of his arms. Imagine Elijah slowly drifting between wakefulness and sleep, his mind no longer racing, his heart no longer trembling. He is finally safe enough to let go, safe enough to stop thinking, safe enough to sink into the healing rest that his soul has craved for so long. Let yourself drift with him. Let your own thoughts grow soft and distant, like lanterns floating away across a quiet lake. Let the tension melt from your shoulders. Let your jaw unclench. Let your breath fall into an easy, gentle rhythm. Each inhale draws peace deeper into your chest. Each exhale releases the remnants of the day. Each moment settles you further into the warm refuge of God's presence. You are not alone here. You are not forgotten here. You are being held by the one who never grows tired of comforting you. And as Elijah finally gives himself over to the deep rest he desperately needed, you too can allow your spirit to settle into that same serenity. God watches over you now with a love so tender, so protective, so constant that nothing in the night can disturb you. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can steal the peace he is placing over you. Feel his whisper brushing softly across your heart. Rest now, my beloved. Let your fears sleep. Let your heart be still. Let your thoughts drift like feathers on gentle wind. I am here. I am holding you. I am guarding your rest. You are safe in my love, safe in my arms, safe beneath my watchful care. Let sleep come softly. Let peace come fully. Let your soul settle into the calm that I have prepared for you tonight. As the night drapes itself in an even deeper, velvety silence, let your spirit ease further into the gentle calm that God is pouring tenderly over you. A calm that feels like warm hands smoothing the last anxious tremors from your heart. A calm that lingers softly in the air around you, like a quiet lullaby breathed straight from heaven. Elijah, resting beneath the serene sky, felt that same calming presence wrapping around him, as though God were laying his own cloak across the prophet's weary shoulders. And tonight that same divine closeness settles upon you, slow, tender, unhurried, whispering peace into the very places where your thoughts once trembled with worry. Let yourself feel that nearness. Feel it brushing lightly across your mind like soft wind moving through tall grass, steadying every thought, quieting every fear, drawing you deeper into the warmth of God's unending love. Imagine Elijah lying completely at ease now, the earth cool beneath him, the night stretching timeless and still around him. His breathing has become soft and rhythmic, not the breath of someone bracing against fear, but the breath of someone finally safe, finally calm, finally wrapped in the tenderness of a God who will not let him slip. Let your own breath fall into that same gentle rhythm, slow, warm, unhurried. Each inhale gathering peace into your chest, each exhale releasing the last strands of worry that cling to your ribs. Feel the weight of your body sinking deeper into rest, your thoughts floating softly like petals drifting on calm water, your heart finding its quiet place beneath the shelter of God's steady presence. Elijah once believed he was forgotten, but God reminded him through whisper and presence that he was held, cherished, and deeply known. Maybe you have carried that same doubt, wondering in quiet moments whether your tears were noticed, whether your anxiety mattered, whether God saw the heaviness you tried so hard to hide. But tonight he draws near to remind you gently, I have seen every moment, I have heard every quiet cry, I have stayed close through every trembling breath. Let that truth settle deeper now, warm and soothing, as though God himself were brushing his hand tenderly along your heart, calming the places where loneliness once lived. You have never walked through one moment unseen, and tonight he is nearer than the air around you. Imagine Elijah's eyes drifting closed again, not in weariness, but in full surrender to the peace he has found. The peace God placed softly within him like a glowing ember that warms from the inside out. Let that same warmth fill you now, expanding slowly through your chest, loosening the heaviness that rests beneath your ribs, softening the thoughts that once pressed fiercely against your mind. Feel the peace of God moving like warm light through every corner of your spirit, illuminating your worries just long enough to dissolve them, quieting the echoes of your day until all that remains is soft, still, holy calm. Elijah did not have to be strong in that moment. He did not have to rise. He did not have to think ahead. He was allowed to rest, fully and without guilt. And tonight God offers you that same holy permission. Permission to be still. Permission to stop trying so hard. Permission to let your tired mind drift into the sweetness of rest. You are allowed to breathe easily now, allowed to let your shoulders fall, allowed to surrender every anxious thought into the arms of the one who carries you. Feel his presence tucking peace around you the way a loving parent tucks a blanket around a sleeping child, gentle, patient, full of tenderness. Let the last of your worries dissolve into his hands. Let the weight you've carried slip softly from your spirit. Let your heart be held in the warm safety of his unwavering love. And as Elijah finally drifted into deep, restful sleep beneath the watchful eyes of heaven, you too can let yourself drift now, slowly, softly, safely. God whispers over you in this quiet hour. Rest, my beloved. Let your heart settle. Let your fears sleep. Let your soul breathe freely in my presence. I am here. I am guarding your night. I am holding your heart. Nothing can touch you in my care. You are safe, deeply, perfectly safe, and you can rest in my love without fear. Let peace embrace you. Let warmth surround you. Let sleep draw you in like gentle arms, lifting you toward the calm you have long needed. For I am with you, and I will not leave you. As the night drifts into an even deeper and more serene quiet, let your spirit continue sinking softly into the warm embrace of God's tender presence. Feel that presence surrounding you like a gentle cocoon of peace, wrapping delicately around every weary corner within you, easing the soft echoes of thought that still flicker at the edges of your mind. Elijah, lying beneath the endless sweep of starlight, felt that same enveloping comfort expanding around him like a slow, warm tide. A quiet reassurance that no fear could chase away, no darkness could diminish. And tonight, that same tide of divine tenderness rises around you, slow and loving, steady and sweet, drawing your heart deeper into a calm so profound it feels like being cradled in the very hands of God himself. Let your breath fall into an even slower rhythm now. Each inhale a gentle gathering of his peace, each exhale a soft release of whatever tension lingers, until rest begins to bloom quietly within you like a flower opening under moonlight. Imagine Elijah completely surrendered to the stillness now, his breathing deep and easy, his body heavy with the kind of relief that comes only when the soul finally lets go. The earth beneath him holds him with quiet strength, and the sky above him shelters him with its vast, peaceful beauty. You too are being held in that same way, supported by the unfailing hands of God beneath you, covered by his tender protection above you. Feel the weight of your worries melting now, as though they are being lifted gently from your chest by a love so patient, so kind, so endlessly understanding that resistance simply dissolves. You don't have to cling to anything anymore, not the fear, not the tension, not the thoughts that once pressed against your mind. God is holding them for you now, freeing your heart to breathe in the quiet comfort of his presence. Elijah once feared that his voice had faded into the vastness, that his pain had gone unheard, his fear unnoticed, his heart unseen. But God met him with a whisper softer than the wind, a whisper that carried more love, more reassurance, more healing than any storm ever could. And tonight that same whisper brushes across your spirit, gentle as a sigh, warm as a quiet embrace, telling you that every moment you felt unnoticed has been held in God's heart. Every tear has been seen, every tremble understood. Let that whisper settle within you, sinking deep into the places where doubt once curled like shadows, warming them, soothing them, turning them into spaces of rest. You are seen, you are known, you are precious in the eyes of the one who formed your soul. Imagine Elijah shifting slightly, not in unrest, but in comfort, as his body nestles deeper into the peace that surrounds him. His thoughts are no longer sharp or hurried. They drift softly now, like leaves floating on a still pond. Let your own thoughts drift like that, light, weightless, carried effortlessly by a presence that will not let you fall. Whatever tried to cling to you today begins to fade into the distance, the worries quieting, the pressure loosening, the noise dimming until only peace remains. Feel your heartbeat slowing, sinking gently with the calm rhythm of God's steady love. A love that never falters, never fades, never pulls away. You are resting in that love now, wrapped in the safest place you could ever be. Elijah was given permission to rest fully, freely, without apology. And you are offered that same holy permission tonight. Let your shoulders relax. Let your hands soften. Let your breath ease into the slow, warm cadence of someone who is deeply, deeply safe. You are allowed to rest, allowed to let go, allowed to drift into the healing quiet that God is placing beneath your spirit. Feel his presence tucking peace around you like a soft blanket, smoothing it lovingly over your mind, drawing you deeper into warmth and stillness until sleep begins to rise gently like a tide around your soul. And as Elijah finally surrendered to deep, renewing sleep beneath the gentle veil of heaven, so too can you surrender now, slowly, sweetly, without fear. God leans close in this quiet hour, his whisper brushing softly against your heart. Rest, beloved. Rest in my peace. Rest in my arms. Rest in the safety of my love. Let go of the fear. Let go of the tension. Let go of the thoughts that tug at your mind. I am here. I am watching over you. I am holding you. Nothing can touch you in my care. You are safe, so deeply, endlessly safe. And you can rest now in the comfort of my unshakable love. Let sleep come gently, like warm light softening the shadows. Let peace settle fully. Let your soul drift into the quiet cradle of my presence, where I keep you through the night and carry every worry so you don't have to. As the night settles into an even deeper and more velvety quiet, let your spirit continue drifting gently into the soothing calm of God's tender nearness. Feel his presence resting over you like the softest blanket, warm and comforting, easing every last ripple of tension that still lingers inside your weary heart. Elijah, lying peacefully beneath the endless sky, felt that same sacred embrace, a gentle stillness wrapping around him assuring him that he was no longer running, no longer struggling, no longer fighting battles alone. And tonight, that same sacred stillness is unfolding slowly around you, brushing softly against your thoughts, moving like warm light through the hidden places in your spirit, inviting your heart to rest in a peace deeper than anything this world can offer. Imagine Elijah breathing deeply, the night air cool against his skin, the earth steady beneath his body. With every slow inhale, his heart gathers the peace God is pouring into him. With every slow exhale, the remnants of fear slip quietly away. Let your own breath follow that same gentle rhythm, soft, warm, unhurried, as though each breath carries the whisper of God's love deeper into your chest. Feel your body growing heavier with rest, your thoughts drifting like soft feathers on a quiet breeze, your heart sinking deeper into the comforting certainty that you are not alone, not unprotected, not forgotten. You are resting in the embrace of the one who sees every corner of your soul and loves you with a tenderness too deep for words. Elijah had once felt lost, overwhelmed, convinced his strength was gone. But the God who found him beneath the broom tree stayed by his side through the darkest hours. And that same God is beside you now, not judging you for your fear, not frustrated by your anxiety, not distant in your suffering. Instead, he leans close, watching over you with gentle eyes, holding you with a compassion that does not falter. Let that compassion settle into your spirit now, easing the ache you've carried, softening the doubts that whispered in your mind, filling the hollow places with warmth. You don't need to be strong in this moment. You don't need to brace against the weight of your thoughts. You can simply rest, knowing that God is carrying what you cannot. Imagine Elijah's heart growing lighter as sleep begins to tug at his weary mind. Not a restless sleep, not a fearful sleep, but a deep, renewing rest that sinks softly into his bones. Let that same rest draw near to you now, wrapping your mind in a slow, comforting hush, smoothing your thoughts until they drift like small boats on a still lake. The night around you grows even quieter, the air softer, the space within you calmer, as though heaven itself is dimming the lights of your mind, preparing you for a peaceful sleep. Feel the warmth of God's presence spreading through your chest, settling over your shoulders, circling your heart with a tender assurance that you are safe, deeply, truly safe, in His care. Elijah rested because God welcomed his weariness without hesitation. And tonight God welcomes yours in the very same way. You don't need to fix your thoughts. You don't need to control your emotions. You don't need to push your fears away. You are allowed to breathe, allowed to soften, allowed to be held exactly as you are. Feel the soft presence of God tucking peace around you like gentle hands smoothing a blanket over someone He loves dearly. Let the last bits of worry slip from your mind. Let the heavy corners of your heart relax. Let your soul be carried as lightly as a leaf on calm water. And as Elijah finally drifted fully into the deep rest his spirit longed for, you too can surrender to that same peaceful quiet. God leans close in this sacred moment, His whisper brushing tenderly across your heart. Rest now, my beloved. Let your thoughts grow quiet. Let your fears close their eyes. Let your spirit sink into the warmth of my arms. I am here. I am holding you. I am guarding your night with love that never sleeps. Nothing can trouble you in my presence. You are safe, deeply safe, eternally safe, and you can rest without fear. Let my peace cover you like gentle rain. Let my love lull you into calm. Let sleep come softly as I keep watch over you until morning. As the night folds itself into an even deeper stillness, let your heart drift further into the tender quiet where God's presence rests gently over you like a warm, embracing veil. Feel that soft, holy peace settling around your thoughts, easing the faintest tremors that linger still, wrapping you in a calm so gentle it feels like being held within the very breath of heaven. Elijah, lying beneath the shimmering canopy of stars, felt that same holy nearness drape itself over him, layer upon layer, like a soft cloak woven from God's compassion. And tonight, that same cloak is settling around you, warm, steady, unhurried, touching the corners of your spirit where fear once lived, soothing the restless echoes of the day until they dissolve into quiet. Imagine Elijah sinking deeper into the cool earth, his body finally trusting that he no longer needs to brace himself for danger, no longer needs to listen for threats, no longer needs to strain for strength he does not have. He rests because God is near. And you too can let your body rest now. Feel your muscles melting gently, your shoulders loosening, your breath deepening as though the very air around you is infused with comfort. Each inhale gathers the calm of God's presence. Each exhale lets go of what no longer belongs to your heart. You do not have to fight your thoughts tonight. You do not have to guard your spirit. God Himself is guarding you with a tenderness that never fades. Elijah once believed he was utterly alone, surrounded by fear, overwhelmed by pressures no one else could carry for him. But God showed him, through whisper and presence, that he was never alone at all. And tonight, God whispers the same truth to you. In the moments when your heart trembled, He was there. In the moments when tears pressed behind your eyes, He was there. In the quiet hours when anxiety tightened around your chest, He stayed close. Let that truth settle into your spirit like warm oil, soothing every place where loneliness once lived. You have never walked one step without His eyes on you, never breathed one anxious breath without His compassion covering you. Imagine Elijah's thoughts drifting now, no longer sharp or fearful, but soft and slow, like feathers floating through moonlit air. Let your thoughts drift in that same gentle way. No urgency, no pressure, no need to cling to anything. Let them move softly, and then fade into the stillness around you. Feel the warmth of God's presence surrounding your heart like a quiet glow, steadying your breath, calming your pulse, filling you with a sense of safety so deep it settles into your bones. You are held tonight, deeply, fully, tenderly held by the one who never grows weary of comforting you. Elijah was never asked to rise before he was ready. God let him rest as long as he needed, and He offers you that same grace right now. You can soften into this moment without resistance. You can let the tiredness sink from your spirit. You can allow the peace of God to cradle you more completely than you ever have before. Feel His hands, gentle and sure, tucking peace around you the way a loving parent tucks a blanket around a sleeping child. Every breath draws you deeper into that soft refuge. Every heartbeat settles into the rhythm of divine calm. Every moment draws you nearer to the rest your soul has long needed. And as Elijah finally surrendered to deep, renewing sleep under the soft watch of heaven, you too can surrender now, peacefully, quietly, without fear. God leans close in this sacred moment, His whisper brushing across your heart like the gentlest wind. Rest now, my beloved. Rest in my peace. Rest in my arms. Let your heart settle. Let your fears grow silent. Let your soul breathe in the warmth of my love. Nothing can disturb you in my presence. Nothing can reach you here. I am guarding your night with care that never sleeps, with love that never grows dim. You are safe with me, eternally safe, and you can rest without fear. Let peace gather around you like soft wings. Let sleep draw you close. Let my presence hold you until morning. As the night drifts deeper into its gentle hush, let your spirit sink even further into the soft refuge of God's nearness. Feel the quiet settling around you like a warm, tender breath laid lovingly across your weary heart, calming every lingering tremor, soothing every fragile thought that still stirs faintly within you. Elijah, resting beneath the quiet canopy of stars, felt that same sacred hush enfold him, slowly, sweetly, like a gentle hand smoothing the strain from his spirit. And tonight, that same sacred hush is gathering around you, wrapping your heart in the softest layers of peace, easing the echoes of worry that tried to cling to you, whispering comfort into the deepest parts of your soul. Imagine Elijah lying still against the cool earth, his body completely surrendered now, his thoughts slow and drifting like soft petals carried on a quiet river. His heart no longer beats with fear. It rests, steady and held, because he knows the presence of God is near. Let your heart rest like that now. Feel your breath soften into a slow, warm rhythm, your chest rising and falling as though cradled by the very peace of heaven. With every inhale, imagine God's comfort filling the spaces where tension once lived. With every exhale, feel the weight of this day slip gently away, falling softly into his hands, where nothing heavy can remain. Elijah had felt overwhelmed, burdened, pressed by fears he could not silence. Yet God did not meet him with force or commands. God met him with whisper-soft compassion, with tender nearness, with a presence so gentle it melted the tightness that had gathered inside the prophet's heart. And tonight, your God meets you with that same whisper of love. He knows how long you've carried your worries. He knows how your thoughts have raced in quiet hours. He knows the places inside you that still tremble. And he draws near, not to examine your fear, but to soothe it, not to criticize your anxiety, but to comfort you, not to demand strength, but to surround you in his own. Imagine Elijah shifting slightly, sinking deeper into the peace he once thought he would never feel again. The night becomes a sanctuary around him, still, warm, cradling, as though the very sky is holding him in gentle arms. That same sanctuary now surrounds you. Feel the atmosphere around your body growing softer, lighter, warmer, as if God himself has drawn a protective veil over your mind, dimming the noise, silencing the echoes, shielding you from anything that might disturb this sacred rest. Let your breathing grow heavier, slower, sweeter. Let it carry you deeper into the safe quiet where God waits to heal what has been strained within you. Elijah was given permission to rest, permission to stop the struggle, permission to let go of the fear he could no longer carry. And tonight, God gives you that same holy permission. You are allowed to release every thought that presses against your chest, allowed to rest even if the world around you is still moving, allowed to let your soul unclench and breathe. Feel his tender hands tucking peace around you like a warm blanket, smoothing the edges of your heart, calming the small quivers of worry that try to linger. You are safe here. You are sheltered. You are held. And as Elijah's eyelids grew heavy beneath the soft glow of the night, you too can let your eyes grow heavy. Let your mind drift. Let the warmth of divine peace draw you toward rest. For God leans close in this sacred hour, his whisper brushing softly across your spirit. Rest now, my beloved. Rest in my care. Rest in the shelter of my wings. I am here with you, I am watching over you. I am guarding your night with a love that never sleeps, with a tenderness that never withdraws. Nothing can trouble you while you rest in my arms. You are safe, completely and eternally safe. And you can drift into sleep without fear, knowing my peace surrounds you like gentle light, holding you until dawn. As the night deepens into an even more tender quiet, let your spirit drift further into the soft, sheltering calm that God is laying gently around you, like a warm veil of peace slowly unfurling across your heart, soothing every last whisper of worry that still lingers in the corners of your thoughts. Elijah, resting in the hush beneath the vast desert sky, felt that same slow, healing tide of God's presence flowing over him, not with urgency, not with pressure, but with a gentle, steady warmth that began to mend the fragile places inside him. And tonight, that same warmth is flowing over you, quiet as a lover's breath, soft as dawn before the sun appears, wrapping your mind in comfort, easing the places where your thoughts have been strained and stretched thin. Imagine Elijah lying fully surrendered to the night now, his body heavy with the sweetness of rest, his breathing deep and unhurried as the soft sands cradle him beneath. The fear that once tightened inside him loosens. The exhaustion that once shook him begins to settle, and his heart rests in the gentle assurance that he is safely held in the hands of the God who never turned away from him. Let your heart feel held like that now. Feel the bed beneath you steadying your weight. Feel your breath falling into a slower rhythm. Feel the peace gathering around your spirit like soft moonlight pooling quietly at your feet. You are not holding yourself together anymore. God is holding you. You are not carrying the weight of your thoughts. God is lifting them with a tenderness too deep for words. Elijah once believed his strength had run out completely, and perhaps you too have felt worn thin by the long days, the quiet battles, the thoughts that have curled tight around your chest. But God did not ask Elijah to rise in that moment. He simply let him rest. He offered him nourishment. He covered him in quiet. And tonight, God is offering you that same mercy, that same stillness, that same gentle invitation to let every burden slide softly from your shoulders. Feel his compassion surrounding you like warm hands smoothing the tension from your spirit. Feel his presence pouring like soft oil over the anxious places, calming them, loosening them, easing them until they fall still and quiet. Imagine Elijah gazing upward with half-closed eyes, watching the stars shimmer softly overhead, each one a small, glowing reminder that God's care reaches higher, deeper, broader than anything the human heart can ever fully comprehend. Let those same unseen stars shine quietly over your soul now, reminding you that the same God who scattered light across the universe is the one who covers you with peace tonight. Let the vastness above you reassure your spirit, not making you feel small in fear, but small in safety, small in surrender, small in the way a child feels when wrapped in the arms of a loving parent. You are held in that same way now, cherished, protected, treasured beyond measure. Elijah's thoughts drift softly like mist through the night, no longer gripping him with fear, but floating lightly in the calm God has created around him. Let your own thoughts drift like that. Nothing to chase, nothing to resolve, nothing to fear. Let them move like small clouds across a quiet sky, fading slowly as God's peace grows thicker around you. Feel the heaviness leaving your chest. Feel your breath warming the air as it moves slowly in and out. Feel your heartbeat settling into a soothing rhythm as though synchronized with the gentle pulse of heaven. Elijah had been given permission to rest without condition. And that is what God is giving you now. Permission to lay everything down. Permission to stop striving for a moment. Permission to let the arms of divine love gather you close and hold you until the tightness in your heart unravels. Feel that holding now, warm, steady, unshakable. God is tucking peace around you like a soft blanket, smoothing it over your mind, letting it sink deeply into your spirit until every part of you begins to relax. And as Elijah drifts towards sleep, wrapped in the quiet assurance that the God of all creation stands watch over him, you too can let your spirit drift toward that same rest. God leans close in this tender hour, his whisper soft as a lullaby brushing across your heart. Rest now, my beloved. Let the concerns of today close their eyes. Let your thoughts grow still. Let your heart sink into the comfort of my unfailing love. I am here with you. I am guarding your night. I am carrying all that you fear. Nothing can trouble you while you rest in my embrace. You are safe, deeply safe, and you can surrender to sleep knowing I hold you through every breath of the night.